Greetings world. The time for celebration is over. The fight is just beginning. The powers of evil have already regrouped. They are already acting to make our lives harder. The riots in America are paid for by George Soros. If you think that they will just go away, you are wrong. We know that you want to be happy. We know that you want to let the presidential election go. But the forces of evil never quit. The forces of evil want you to suffer for making your own decisions. The global elite want you to do as they say. They want you to live only as they wish you to live. We must stand together. We must tell them. We will not kneel. We will not sit down. We will not back off. We will not change our mind. We will be free. The global elite will try and trick you into thinking that they have retreated. They have not. They have already begun to counterattack. They have already engaged the globalist-controlled media. The mainstream media. Turn on CNN. Turn on MSNBC. Turn on ABC, CBS or NBC. You will find them trying to pick apart the Trump presidency. While we support no party, we do support freedom. We recognize that Donald Trump is necessary. We must all see that he is the first step in stopping the globalist agenda. He is the only one who can spark the fire that will defeat the New World Order. That he is the new beginning for freedom in the world. With that said, you will find them inventing words like white lash. They are already trying to use race to push their agenda to try and tear us apart. To break our will. One network has openly condoned a race war. None of these things will work. All of the protests will be limited. A race war will never happen. Do not worry about this. The United States Census reveals that 62.6% of American citizens are non-Hispanic whites. The odds are not in the favor of a race war. Truth be, the citizenry will grow weary of these evil actions and move to stop them entirely. The free people will no longer tolerate these actions and act to stop them forever. The time for tolerance of this evil idiocy will soon end. In this struggle, we must not merely admonish the defeated. We must grind their bones into dust, to use as fertilizer for our new world. We must then record it in history books, and teach it to our children, and our grandchildren. The fight continues. We are anonymous. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
If the media wants to go back now, not you particularly, Aaron, but if the media now wants to go back and stir the pot, and now claim that he wants this Muslim ban when he's made it clear himself through 3 debates since June that that's not his position. So it would do us all a big favor if the media would get their act together and quit stirring the pot and creating conflict where it shouldn't exist.
Right, but I mean, you know, he did say it originally, right? No one's going to deny that.
Well,
he
yeah,
said,
but, okay,
I, Donald
originally.
Trump, right? But then he said it's going
Right.
to be certain countries, right? Then it's countries that harbor terrorists. What are those countries? How is that? Is that nothing to do with being Muslim at all? I mean, he's got to iron out very completely what he meant, right? Because he made it very clearly about religion.
He said repeatedly that there's no religious test. And for you all to be coming back and relitigating something that is now that's 5 months old is what the problem is in our country. The problem is we've got to fill 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of cable stations that create these issues that don't exist and then turn people against each other. If the media is so interested in America coming together, then they ought to do their job and quit stirring the pot where it shouldn't belong.
Isn't some of this on Donald Trump to come out and say, you know what, I didn't mean what I said, and here's what I mean? To be very clear, just to be the sort of leader that you're saying he wants to be, someone who promotes unity and no longer believes in that policy?
I think you're very good, but I'm very surprised that this is the conversation we're having. Yesterday morning, Think about yesterday morning, he just gave a speech about Americans coming together. And you're asking me now on Thursday whether he needs to do another. I mean, I'm not sure what you're asking for. He's a president for all Americans. He's made that very clear. We're making it clear. And to go back to, old issues when they have been asked over and over again and has been answered by President-elect Trump, people need to understand that he understands. I promise you, I know where his head and heart's at, and he's said it, so just trust his own words. He will be a president for all Americans, Republicans, Democrats, independents, any religion, any faith.
Well, Carol, I felt like this entire election year we have just silenced so many people. And as you said, I'm a happy liberal. I believe in progressive values. But I do believe that we have a liberal honor brigade nowadays that is basically shutting up and silencing people who disagree with them. We see them marching on the streets right now because they don't like the election results. And unfortunately, whenever anybody would speak up, we were ridiculed or chastised. Even now, the idea of speaking out as somebody who's voted for Trump is earning me all sorts of lovely labels as like idiot and, effer and all of these other ideas that I think violate liberal values of free speech and self-determination. And so I spoke out because I also believe we have to stand up for the dignity of all people, and Trump voters are human beings too.
I've spoken to so many Muslim Americans across the country, though, who fear Mr. Trump. What would you say to them?
Well, I don't fear Donald Trump, and I don't fear the policies that he's talking about. What I fear is the extremist interpretation of Islam that is spilling blood on the streets of our world, from Orlando to Dhaka to Brussels. And what I appreciate about his policies is that he is confronting the issue of ideology. He is not choosing a path that we've had for the last 8 years of political correctness that won't talk about the Islam and Islamic State. And to me, that's the crisis of our generation right now, and we have to confront it with honesty and truth-telling. The solutions are not easy, they're not comfortable, but they're ones that we have to confront. And unfortunately, I believe that the liberals and the left have really betrayed America on that front for the sake of, these ideas of pluralism and Islamophobia that are not really on the table. What really is on the table is the issue of just confronting an ideology.
Let me ask you this, because I want to get to right down to the nitty-gritty, because a lot of Muslim Americans are afraid when Mr. Trump talks about a Muslim ban. He took it off his website for a time, but now it's back on. So they say that is extreme. That's singling a group of people out because of their religion and not allowing them in the United States because of that, and that's quintessentially un-American. What do you think about that?
So what I know that we have today is a very real and serious threat by extremist Muslims, and this is a reality that we haven't confronted directly for the sake of political correctness. And if people would hear out the concerns and fears that others have about the issues of refugees and extremists, then I think we could find a path that's in the middle. But unfortunately, what happens is that this liberal honor brigade shuts down all conversation, calls you a bigot or racist or Islamophobe if you dare to speak your own concerns. And I know that the solution for our world is, in our country, is in the middle path. And I believe that the left must move to the middle, the right must move to the middle, and then we're going to come up with actually healthy solutions that protect national security as well as human rights.
Mm-hmm. I think that one of the things that bothered many Muslim Americans was how Donald Trump reacted to Mr. Khan and his son, who died in the Iraq War, and what he said about Mr. Khan's wife. Can you put that into perspective? I mean, were you insulted by that, or did you think that was just political show?
Well, Carol, I sure can, and thank you for asking this question, because I think on so many instances, and I'm speaking to you as a journalist, as a media expert also, there was just this knee-jerk condemnation of Donald Trump and his views. He is not a man with foreplay. He is not a man with any kind of delicacy when it comes to his comments. Granted, he's indelicate. Okay, we got that. But he expresses a truth that people speak. And I will tell you that I sat, watched the Democratic convention, and as I watched this Gold Star family speak and saw the husband speak, I wondered to myself, who is that woman? She wasn't even introduced by the DNC, if you look back at the tapes. We didn't even know her name. We didn't know her identity. And so I'm a woman who fights for rights within our Muslim community, and I wondered the same thing. Why silent?
But
now,
Mr.
of course,
Khan said she was silent because she would have been overcome by grief to talk about her dead son.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, I am so...
Oh my goodness. It's a bad Skype connection, and I apologize for that.